Hi there, I'm Audrey Fletcher and I'm here today to share with you my discovery that ancient Egyptians were here in the Sunderland area as far back as 4,000 years ago. Our story begins in the long-distant past. The location is North Hylton on the banks of the River Wear in northeast England. A sacred ceremony has been enacted in which a cache of votive offerings to the gods are deposited into the river as a token of devotion and gratitude. The votive offerings are a collection of stone anchors reflecting that the people dedicating them are mariners. Incredibly, 2 of the stone anchors hold the keys to the past and the identities of their creators. Today we take a look at and examine the first of these stone anchors, but the question remains, was it deposited 2,000 years ago or 4,000 years ago? In March 2021, it was reported that 5 stone anchors were discovered lying in the River Wear at North Hylton by underwater archaeologist Gary Bankhead. As many Roman artefacts were discovered nearby, the anchors were also thought to be of Roman origin. But were they? Today the stone anchors are on display at Hylton Castle, midway between Sunderland and Worm Hill at Fatfield, Washington. This most unexpected ghostly image has possibly been created as a shadow from the upstanding stone anchor. Now how uncanny is that? What other explanation can there be? The long head and facial features portrayed suggest a man of African origin. As stone anchors are usually found in the Mediterranean, these are indeed an extremely rare find, indicating that although they were made from local stone, they were actually created by merchant seamen or traders from overseas. Note how on the top stone anchor there is ancient writing, symbols and numbers carved into the stone, and on the bottom one there is a carved face. Or is it possibly a map of Africa, complete with the Red Sea and Saudi Arabia? In this photo of the anchor with the carved face or map of Africa, taken at a slightly different angle, an image of a boat is revealed. It is of a very distinctive style and can be identified as an ancient Egyptian funerary boat, which can be dated back to at least 2000 BC. The funnel-like prow is unmistakably ancient Egyptian. And here are 2 further examples of ancient Egyptian funerary boats from about 2000 BC. Although the anchor is made from local stone, the image created is of an ancient Egyptian funerary boat, which indicates that the ancient Egyptian mariner who created the stone anchor was at North Hylton 4,000 years ago, and that he was very familiar with such a funerary boat and by association the religious beliefs and practices of ancient Egypt. Nevertheless, it needs to be considered that the ancient Egyptian mariners who created the stone anchors were at North Hylton nearer 2,000 years ago. It could be argued that they were a contingent of the Roman army based at North Hylton, very possibly with the Roman fort being situated on the site of what is now Hylton Castle. My suggested purpose of this ancient Egyptian legion was to quarry massive stones from a nearby local source and construct a dam across the River Wear, a task for which they were eminently fitted. The members of the legion would have been skilled engineers, stonemasons, quarrymen and labourers. The dam, which was later referred to as the Brigstones, was constructed to control river levels for shipping access to the Roman forts at Picktree and Chestley Street. However, there is pre-Roman evidence that the ancient Egyptians colonized Durham. The map of Durham to the left of the screen indicates supposed major Roman roads, yet in 2009 I discovered that they actually outline the mummified ancient Egyptian god Osiris, as well as the image of the constellation of Orion, the giant. On the map opposite, notice how the sword of Orion was not interpreted as such by the ancient Egyptians. Rather, it was considered to be displaying Orion's masculine prowess. The recondite is the arm of Orion. This side view of the constellation of Orion in the image of the ancient Egyptian god Osiris, clearly outlined in broken red lines in County Durham, can only have been created by the ancient Egyptians. Unlike the constellation above, Orion, as portrayed on the extended map of Durham and Yorkshire, has legs, representing, as previously mentioned, the mummified ancient Egyptian god Osiris. Orion and Osiris are as one. The ancient Egyptians believed that following upon sacred ritual, the mummified pharaoh was deified, becoming the god Osiris, who resided in the heavens as the constellation of Orion. The sacred image of the mummified ancient Egyptian god Osiris is skillfully and faithfully recorded on this map of Durham and North Yorkshire, in the broken red lines, a sacred image which can only have been recorded by ancient Egyptians. And here is my discovery of how the constellation of Orion is overlaid upon the Durham landscape, on earth as it is in heaven. The ancient Egyptians had found their holy land, their heaven on earth, their hallowed land of the dead, where the sun set in the west on the far horizon. It was their Albion, where their god of the dead, Osiris, became as one with the constellation of Orion. What was previously considered as a Roman road network on a map of northeast England and Scotland is in fact a faithful reproduction of the ancient Egyptian god Osiris. The constellation of Orion, the giant, recorded on the Durham landscape, in both bodily form and as a sky chart, confirms the presence of the ancient Egyptians in Durham, the land of the three rivers, long before the arrival of the Romans. It was they who created heaven on earth. So, there was a time when the ancient Egyptians came to Sunderland, but the question remains, was the stone anchor deposited 4,000 years ago, as the overwhelming evidence suggests, when they came in search of and created heaven on earth, or nearer 2,000 years ago, when they possibly came with the Roman legion? Well, everyone, I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation and subscribed to my channel. I look forward to sharing my continued research with you in my next video. Bye for now.